Good afternoon from InvestSharp. This is Randy Smotone with your Thursday, January the 21st market update. On the economic front, jobless claims were higher than expected, coming in at 482,000. Philly Fed came in at 15.2, which showed a little bit of growth. Petroleum status report showed a drawdown of 400,000 barrels, and nat gas showed a drawdown of 245 billion cubic feet. No economic reports for tomorrow. On earnings, Google beat. They reported $6.79 earnings per share. The estimate was for $6.48. Revenues were 4.95 billion. The estimate was for 4.92 billion. They were down after hours. AMD reported as well, and they had a $1.52 earnings per share, but that was mostly due to a settlement with Intel. Their actual earnings were more like minus 5 cents, which actually was a beat for them. But they were also down after hours. And American Express reported a good quarter beating, and they're down after hours. So it's sell the news right now. And we have McDonald's out tomorrow, as well as some others. The dollar started out strong today, but it wound up actually flat on the day. Gold, silver, copper, oil were all down. Take a quick look at the UUP. We talked yesterday about watching $23.20, so we got up there today, but this is still holding as resistance, at least for now. So we've got a lot of volume, so we'll see how this plays out. But this looks like it could be a possibly head, shoulder. So we'll see if this is kind of kind of ugly head and shoulders pattern bottom, but it could be. So we'll continue to monitor that. Light sweet crude futures were down another $1.66 to settle at $76.08 a barrel. Take a quick look at the West Texas Intermediate crude chart. We've been watching this point and figure chart. Could turn out to be kind of a triangle, or it could hold somewhere in the middle here. We'll see how this works out. We're still on a buy signal though on oil. Let's take a look at the Dow. Dow closed down 213 points at 10,389. S&P closed down 21 points to 1,116. The Nasdaq closed down 25 points to 2,265. The Russell closed down 11 points to 628. The Nasdaq held up the best, only down 1.12%, and the Dow had the biggest percent loss at 2.01%. So if you look at the Dow, you still got the MACD turning down, lower here than it was here, so we'll watch that. I talked yesterday about the S&P 500, talked about how we had this channel we've been stuck in, 20 points from 1,150 to 1,130. So, and I said my first initial target would be somewhere around 1,110. We didn't quite make it there today. We do have a little bit of support around this 1,115 area, which is the close here of this red candle. So the market did stop there. So I don't know if it's going to reverse, go up here. This will be new resistance, and we'll go down further. We'll just play it day to day. Of course, the market was extremely heavy selling today, which is in most cases it was 100 to 200% above average volume. And of course, us self-directed investors and traders, retail people did not cause that. It's definitely institutions are definitely profit taking and moving out. Now I don't know if that's permanent or if they're taking profits from now. They typically like to buy on the way down and they sell on the way up. That's usually how institutions do it. So of course most of the biggest market sell-off is really caused by the China. They're trying to control inflation, so they're talking about restricting bank lending over there, so that could affect the global growth of the economy overall. A lot of political noise from President Obama and Barney Frank today, and they're not even on the same page. So that really kind of made the market worse. Let's take a look at the McClellan, so we can see if we're overbought, oversold, kind of where we're sitting here. So looking at the McClellan oscillator, minus 49, so we're definitely oversold. This area here is oversold. We can get a lot more. We've been down here minus 120 before, but typically average would be minus 160 or so, so we're getting there. So we would expect at least some consolidation or a possible bounce pretty soon. Let's take a look at gold. Gold stuck again between 105 and 110. Lots of selling. All the commodities, coal and stuff, is really getting hit hard and stuff today. Silver, same thing. This MACD, I kept talking about how this MACD was going lower. I was concerned this whole time. Same way with the Dow and everything else. And then the VIX was up almost 20%, broke out of this channel and went flying. Take a quick look at the VIX on the point and figure. I talked yesterday about having some resistance up here. We've run into this bearish trend line and we've stopped there on the VIX. So let's see if we reverse and go back lower, or if this point and figure price objective plays out and eventually we get to 31. That'll be a pretty volatile market if we, jumping back up there again from, we've been at really low levels on the VIX, which is pretty nice. Let's look at the sectors. 2 of the 16 sectors we follow finished in the green today. The broker dealer and internet index were both positive, and gold index was the weakest again today, down another 4.52%. So we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going over to the InvestSharp website. I wanted to talk a little bit about this 2010 outlook, which was from Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase. So, Goldman Sachs is saying right here that 2010 may look a lot like 2004. Well, if that's true, then we're going to get pretty nasty down here in the middle of, before the middle of the year actually. And so it looks like, it had resistance there in 2004. We've had resistance, so that looks pretty similar. It made several attempts. We've made several attempts to get past the 1,150, and the S&P haven't been able to do it yet. So we'll continue to monitor this. We'll monitor this from time to time, but I don't know if this kind of nastiness has started, which will make the market much more challenging to invest or trade in, and you have to be careful about buying the dips because you could be catching a falling knife. So, patience will be key, timing your setups, trying to let things, consolidate, build bases is going to be real important. So, need to be definitely be careful. Don't be in a big rush, and we definitely need to be buying low and selling high, as opposed to, when we get like this, I don't really like buying breakouts as much because a lot of times they won't hold as support. So when we start to get more volatile. Regional banks held up pretty well today, as did the restaurant stocks. If you want something to go look at to possibly trade or invest in, that's probably where I would go. We talked about the point and figure signals. The Nasdaq's now on a sell, the Dow and the S&P still on a buy, so that's still looking good. And the Nasdaq actually went a little lower today from its sell signal, which to me might confirm possibly that we might bounce, but then eventually go lower. So even though the Nasdaq held up pretty well today. So that's it for today, and thanks for joining me. And remember to always invest.